In the Sanford game, what do you think of Nick's play?
I thought he was very productive. Made some big plays. Continues to do a good job of developing and not making the same mistake twice. Obviously, still a room for a ton of improvement. If you ask him, there's definitely some, and we can play better in a bunch of different ways. From a quarterback standpoint, playing the quarterback position, as far as checking protections, things of that nature, managing different game situations, things like that, stuff that comes up throughout the course of a game, or we can be better.
How'd you like his poise, handling 2 touchdowns called back, especially the second one with his helmet come off like that, and still able to handle that and keep leading the team?
Well, I think we need to get out of it quicker, and have a little bit more of a snap and clear mentality. Because after those 2 plays, we had a string of probably 4 or 5 plays in a row where things kind of spiraled out of control for a little bit. So we have to do a better job of not letting the previous play affect the next play. And that's just a part of consistently doing your job each and every time and performing on a consistent basis.
Post-game, Mullen mentioned, talking about Fitzgerald's just toughness, how he's mentally and physically tough. How would you grade his toughness, both mentally and physically?
Yeah, I think he has excellent toughness. And, that's something through the recruiting process, that's the number one thing that we look at. We go out and look for a quarterback. You have to be tough both mentally and physically, to play in our offense and to play in this league. And it goes a long way. I mean, you look at everything's kind of changed for these guys and how much limelight and coverage and attention they get. Sometimes you can let things negatively affect you. You have to be mentally tough enough to be very self-critical of yourself when things go well, and self-critical when things don't go well. So, he possesses those qualities, and I think that's what gives him a chance to be a really good player.
Has Nick gotten better at analyzing himself and evaluating himself?
Yeah, absolutely. He's very, very coachable. He understands there's a ton of things that we can do to continue to get better and improve our game and take the next step forward in our development. And that's a trait that you have to have in order to improve as a player. Is you have to be very, very self-critical, detailed about your performance, finding ways to get better, and not making the same mistake twice.
You mentioned seeing toughness from him in the recruiting process. I think you only played quarterback for 1 year, senior year. I think like wide receiver, running back, whatever. The first couple years, what did you see as a whole from his high school tapes?
Well, I wasn't here when we recruited him, but I got here. So I guess that first spring. So I went back and watched his stuff, and you could tell he was a very, very athletic kid that was tough. He ran hard, and he had some very good traits about him that we thought would translate to him being a big-time quarterback.
He's shown the ability to make the throws, whether it be intermediate or deep ball. How have you seen him kind of bringing that together and being more consistent? I think Dan talked about making the unspectacular play, making the short throws and things of that nature. How have you seen him kind of develop over the course of the season?
Well, it's a process. I think of it in terms of you being a shortstop and somebody hitting you ground balls. I mean, the routine play to field it and throw it to first. That everyone knows that you should make every single time. Just the consistency of making routine plays look routine. And, we have to continue to work on that. He has a bunch of natural God-given ability and can make big plays, extend plays, and make big throws down the field. But from playing the quarterback position, we still have to continue to develop and make the correct plays and manage different things as the game goes along.
He only threw for 80-something yards against Kentucky, came back with the big game against Sanford. Does that just kind of go back to the consistency that you want to see from him, just not from one extreme to the other?
Yeah, absolutely. What you don't want is a roller coaster, so to speak, right? You want to see him continually peak and end up playing his best football in November. That's what you would like to see, and obviously, we challenged him to go out there and do that this month.
As a former quarterback yourself, what's your idea on the difference between maybe a straight under center sneak or that shotgun vault kind of sneak for a quarterback? I mean, is that a situational thing or just a preference?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can there's pros and cons to both, just like anything. You know, you're not as likely to get as much pinching when they're in the gun. You still have the threat of running outside with the running back lined up, and you know, you've seen it work and not work both ways. You know, you can pull up clip after clip of guys running quarterback sneak and not getting it from under center, guys getting it from the gun, guys not getting it from the gun, and guys getting it from under center. So it's just a matter of execution.